Coming up next on Access Framingham, Jamaica, with my special guests, Patricia and Paul Ramsay. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Jack Barron, host of Travels with Jack, here on Access Framingham TV, where guests share with our audience a recent trip, a vacation, a cruise, or maybe even a day trip right here in New England. You'll see their photos and hear about the exciting places they have visited. My guests today are Patricia and Paul Ramsay. Patricia has a vision to help the women in her previous church in the inner city in Kingston, Jamaica, and so for the last 3 years she has hosted a women's conference in Jamaica where they encourage, challenge, and empower women to discover and pursue their God-given purpose. The third conference was held in July 2019. After the conference, the couple, Paul and Patricia, spent 4 days vacationing at the Ria Montego Bay Hotel and sightseeing in Montego Bay, or Mo Bay, as the area is affectionately called. It's Jamaica's second largest city and located on the western side of the island. It is also known as the tourist capital of Jamaica. They then traveled over the countryside back to Kingston in the southeast of the island to spend time with family and friends before returning home to beautiful Massachusetts. Nobody laughed. What parts of the world have you visited? Please be my guest on Travels with Jack and share your travel experience with our viewing audience. To do so, just contact us here at Access Framingham Television and let us know you'd like to be a guest. You can phone AFTV at 508-875-5434, or you can send an email message to info@accessfram.tv. One of our associate producers will contact you to make arrangements for you to be on our show here on Access Framingham TV. If you don't live in Massachusetts, we would be pleased to assist you with your travel to the Access Framingham studio. And now, let me welcome Patricia and Paul to Travels with Jack.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
They wrote me a long introduction today. All right, I'm going to give a little biography on Paul and Patricia Ramsay. They are residents of Framingham. Paul and Patricia have been married for 17 years and have lived in Framingham for 12 years. They have 3 wonderful sons, 2 currently working in England, Essex, you mentioned, just outside of London, and 1 in London.
Yes.
And one of their sons is working here in nearby Cambridge, Mass.
Right.
So it's easy to get confused with when you say Cambridge. Do you mean Cambridge, England,
Yes.
Cambridge, Mass, or Essex, England, Essex, Mass? I don't know. All right. Paul is an electronic engineer working in Holliston, and Patricia handles the customer service department here in Framingham. And as we said in the introduction, Patricia is very active in church here in Framingham. She's an activist with the Greater Framingham Community Church. And Paul is a very busy cyclist and billiards player. Makes me think of Paul Newman in The Hustler. He says, Jack, do you want to play pool? And today, Patricia and Paul are going to share their trip to Jamaica.
Yes.
And in particular, they're going to talk about the women's conference that Patricia directed and ran with her former Jamaican church.
Yes.
So you're very active and close to God. That much we'll give you.
We're working on it.
You're working, that's all right. So tell us a little bit. I think Bill will probably have a map for us so we can show the audience where Jamaica is. For those of you who've been following this hurricane season, it is right in the general big hurricane area.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, Paul. You were very familiar. Give us a little bit of a detailed information on Jamaica, where it's located. Point out the Bahamas and everything there.
Jamaica, as you see on that map there, those are the two major cities of Jamaica. Kingston is the capital, the southeast corner, and Montego Bay, second largest city. And it's also the tourist capital of Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean, and it's pretty much smack dab in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. It's about 180 miles south of Miami.
Is that all?
Yep.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So usually when hurricanes pass through the center of the Caribbean, Jamaica is usually somewhere in the vicinity. Luckily for us this time, Hurricane Dorian didn't quite get into the center of the Caribbean. It kind of passed to the north. So Bahamas Islands got the brunt of it, unfortunately for them. But yeah.
And this is a picture of what?
This is Boston. As
This
we were
is
leaving.
Boston. Okay.
Yeah, as we were flying out over the Cape. I looked out the window and like, wow, yeah.
That's a great picture.
It is nice. So
I was going to say Jamaica never looked so good.
this is actually Massachusetts. Now, this is Kingston, Jamaica, at
Okay.
night.
At night. Yep.
Taken from the hills overlooking Kingston, so you see the lights of the city. It's pretty nice.
And this is where, this is
Oh,
my
it's
church in Kingston,
Oh,
Jamaica.
really?
So yes, big yard with a lovely poinsettia. We call it a poinsettia. I don't know what
Tree.
it's called here.
Yep.
Tree in the center of the
Yeah,
gates
it looks
of
lovely.
the church. Yep.
Yes.
And how big a church is it there?
It was originally a warehouse, so this is what it looks like, and we reformatted inside the warehouse, and so we have a hall for the church. We used to have classrooms for a basic school before we actually built the basic school in the yards. So
And
this
how
is
many-
entering.
How many congregants would you say?
Right now, probably about 500.
Oh, so it's a big, busy church.
When it's really full.
Yeah.
On average, we get about 200, and kids will make up another 50.
But even so, 500 families
Yes,
is a good-sized church.
It's a very big. That's a basic school that was built on the property of the church. So now we cater to the children in the whole community, and we got grants from the Jamaican government to help establish the school. We have trained teachers.
So let me ask you this. In Jamaica, do they have regular public schools that the government pays for?
They do have regular public schools that are subsidized by the government.
Yep.
You still do have to pay a bit.
Oh, even to go to the regular? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And what about the church school? The government helps fund
the
it?
government helped fund it. Once we reached, met certain criteria, they were willing to subsidize it. And so we trained our teachers, we got the people from the community involved, and yeah.
So if I was a parent and I was sending little Johnny to school, this would be the full school.
That would be all
He
they
wouldn't
get.
go to public school and the church school.
No, they would leave the church school. So they started, this was the first years of school, so it would be kindergarten here.
Right.
And then they would they would leave there and going to a primary school. is what
That's
we call it.
interesting. So the government encourages
Yes.
you to have a private school, but they help
And they will subsidize it
because
if
it
you're
saves
reaching
them
out-
money from you.
And especially if you're helping the community you're in, because that church is in the inner city. So
When you
it
say the inner
provides-
city, it looked very country to me.
yeah, inner city. How do we describe that?
It's actually in Kingston, the city
Yeah.
of Kingston, but it's like a smaller subset of Kingston.
And
if
it's
you
a
will.
lower. It's the
lower socioeconomic scale.
right
Poorer people.
poorer
Yep.
people.
Yeah, because it didn't look too city to me. It
Yeah.
looked very country.
Right,
Yeah,
but
but-
because they keep the trees and they keep all the stuff, so it helps to create a nice
No, it
atmosphere.
looked
and-
nice.
yeah.
All right, let me see. Do we have a few more photos? There we go. What is this?
All right, so this is where I had my conference. This is actually the Knutsford Court. It's a hotel in Kingston.
Oh, okay.
So this is no longer in the inner city. This is commercial Jamaica.
Yep.
In the city.
It looks lovely.
It is beautiful going in. This was a dream I had, to get the ladies out of the inner city and to somewhere a little more excellent to,
Okay.
enjoy. So we chose the Knutsford Court, and this is just, this is the entrance as we went in, how we'd get into there. And we'd go down the stairs to where all the meeting rooms were.
I see the Blue Mountain Suite.
This is the hall that my conference was at. So these were the ladies that would have all the registered attendees enter, and the lovely doors. What we did for the ladies was everyone got the usual layout of note paper and pen, but everyone got a little token, a little gift at their spot. I make jewelry, so their token this year was a bracelet.
That you made?
That I made.
Okay.
And this was the layout. So we had the ladies coming in, they'd register and they could choose their seats.
How many ladies did you have?
We had about 80 ladies. 80
Really?
ladies coming in, yep. And that's me
This
getting
looks like a
into
nice
it.
property, the hotel.
The hotel is lovely. The conference room was amazing. Just the way they prepared it for us. They had everything ready that we needed, some of the things we hadn't thought of. And so our concept was growing out of a seed into a tree, or into whatever you were supposed to be. So that was our main
Now, what were
core.
most of these women, would you say, involved in? Were they mostly working women,
They're-
or were they house women, mothers
It would
raising young
probably
children? What would you
be
say?
Mostly working women, but not necessarily
Not managers?
high level jobs.
Not
Definitely,
managers.
No,
So these were
definitely
working-
not. Regular working ladies.
Okay.
A lot of them with kids, so they'd leave the kids at home. We asked to not have the kids there.
Okay.
So they left the kids at home, or they had someone stay with them. So these were hardworking women from the inner city who had their kids, left them at home.
And what would you
so they
say
could
your
spend the day.
overall message was? I mean, I know it's
That they
hard
matter,
to
and-
conclude it and shrink it to
Yeah.
a TV show, but what would you say the essence of your message
That
was?
they matter, and
That they matter.
if they can follow their dream, they can make a difference in their community. So that was what we were saying. If we could get them to believe in one thing they're able to do, whether it is cook well or sew well, and you pursue that, you can make a difference for your kids. You can bring in finances for your family. You can change your community.
So, in essence, something I always believe in, you believe you need a purpose.
Yes, I believe every one of them
Yeah.
has a purpose, and it's not just to
Not
sit
just
at
has a
home.
purpose, you have
But
to make yourself have a purpose.
And you can follow it and yes, accomplish that purpose. So that was what we spent time. So most of these were just the times we got to spend with these ladies and challenging them to step out of their comfort zones.
So what do you find is the problem they get into, do you think?
When you live in a community that tells you that there's not much better than this and there's no further you can go, you give up fighting for better. You give up hoping. You give up believing that your kids can come out of this community and make good.
I see.
And so it's
So there's a feeling of despair.
yes, and hopelessness, and no sense of worth. And that's what we wanted to change in them. If they could believe that, yes, I can make a difference with whatever little thing I can do, then they can change their community. So part of what we did, we had, I used the different things that they could relate to. Like I used the bracelet I made the bracelet with one black stone, didn't bring one, with the concept of you're made to be beautiful, but everyone has a little dark spot or a dark place. And that's okay. It's part of what makes you beautiful. The next challenge was I gave them...
My wife always tells me she's flawless.
Oh yeah, we tell our husbands that, of course. but when women get together and we
that's
can
what they...
and be true about how we feel, you're like, yeah, we want to make sure they believe and know, not just what we tell our husbands, but that it really is so, that you are of worth. So we had the next concept we had was the picture will come up eventually. We had the idea of so this is a tree.
Yep.
This is what you can become, even
Yep.
though you may be a seed that's covered with dirt. That was a bracelet. The concept of although you're beautiful, you have a dark spot. This concept here was from a scripture, it does not yet appear what you shall be. So it was wrapped in a brown paper bag, was a beautiful scarf. And so we threw out the paper bag and we told her, tear the bag open. And she was thrilled that in that old brown paper bag was something this beautiful. And what we were trying to say is, it doesn't matter how you look on the outside, everyone has something beautiful that you can be or that you are hidden inside of that. This was part of the worship that we had.
I see some of the women are very young.
Yes. So we had some of the age was from 18 upwards. So we had some 19, 20-year-olds there. You had variations of ages and they all got ministered to. They were all challenged to step out. One of the other things we left with them was, if you could change your situation, if there was something you could pursue right now, what would it be and how would you go? If you say could get $200 right now, what business or what dream do you have?
US.
200 US. In Jamaica, that's 100 to 1. So that's like 20,000 Jamaican dollars. What would you do if you were handed something like that? Because my church here actually sent a gift of $200 to the church. And one woman pursued it. She had started a business in the inner city and needed the proper documentation. The money that my church here sent to my church there is what she's getting to get that documentation.
Did you get a
done.
feeling that a lot of these women wanted to be involved in business?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Because they can't find or they're not qualified for a standard job, an accountant or working in. They do self-help, self-employment, but you still need, if you want a good business, you still need the basic documentation for a small business association, and that requires money, which they don't have. So they have these dreams of the businesses they can do. The cook shop that one lady could open, one lady can sew, another lady likes to make jewelry like I do, but they have nothing to start with. So my challenge was, put your business together, because you don't know.
This is what we're finding actually. I see it in Jamaica, but also here in the United States today, the bulk of the new jobs are people doing independent jobs and
pursuing their dreams.
I was just reading an article about how much has grown. I mean, you may take it as minimal, but it's making people successful. Is beauticians, manicurists, massage therapists, family therapists who are helping people, financial analysts, helping people with their finances. I mean, all these jobs that are coming up are kind of weren't nearly this 30 years ago.
Right.
So as times change, there really is a lot of opportunity. I mean, Jamaica, I know, doesn't have the wealth of the United States.
Right. So this is my church.
The church looks nice.
Yeah, they got donations, so they've started tiling it. Had the picture come up some more, it's tiled just to where the thing is. The rest is concrete. Those are the leaders of the church in Jamaica.
Okay.
Pastor Robert McIntosh and his wife, Marcia.
Okay.
I've known them for like 30 years. We've been in that church. These are the young people in the church that love to dance, and so they became the dancers. We have them trained, and they dance during worship, or they dance as special presentations and stuff. These are the young ladies. She was also at the conference talking about how it changed their lives and challenged them to dream more than live in the city and not go for anything more. That was me busy speaking to the church on the Sunday morning, the morning following. These are the ladies of the church, and we had this presentation we called Mind Games, where we were the council of Satan. And they were like, the church was a bit worried, but what the concept was, a lot of times our challenges are in our mind, the depression, the discord. And unless we can face and override these things with the help of God, with a determination we won't get past these and will remain where we are.
How different do you find this church's theory of religion and the practice to what you do here in Framingham and your Framingham church?
The basic message is the same.
Okay.
The basic message is the same. The presentation may be a little different only because of the cultures. So Jamaica is a lot more religious and a lot more open to variations in presentation. Here, a lot more is structured, and they don't veer very far from.
Can
the
you give me a little
structure.
better example?
Like that presentation I did at the church. So it is not normal. I can't envision myself walking up to my pastor here and going, I had this idea of having this dramatic presentation of the Council of Satan and that be the start of a message. Whereas that kind of freedom is in Jamaica.
So it's not as rigid a structure.
Not as rigid.
Okay.
But the basic Bible teachings are the same. And then when
Hold
that's
on,
all,
I don't want to lose the picture. This is where.
and this is where I hand over to Paul. Here you go, Paul.
So
I'll
after
come back to
conference,
you.
yeah.
The pictures just come up and we have to respond.
After conference,
Right.
we
went
on
on
a
vacation.
Okay.
So this is a drive across Jamaica, and this is one of the major.
The new highway.
The new
Oh, this is
toll
new.
road.
Okay.
Right. It's one of the toll highways in Jamaica, and this is us driving along the toll highway and driving
Is this the
across
Blue
country.
Mountains that you're in? Not really?
It's not.
No.
Okay.
Jamaica is a very mountainous country, so the Blue Mountains is just one at the extreme eastern end, but the entire middle section of the country is
Yeah,
mountain.
it's mountainous.
So we were driving across the mountains because we're getting from Kingston in the southeast to Montego Bay in
Now
the
you
northwest.
drive like the British do there. It looked
On
like
the
you-
left.
That's
on
correct.
the left. Okay.
On the left. And then we stopped at various places along the way to take some nice pictures. And
This
this
is-
one is a monument to Christopher Columbus,
Oh, really?
who discovered the island in 1494.
Okay.
Right, so this is a statue located at or close to the place where he first landed in Jamaica, where he landed with his 3 ships, the Pinta, the Nina, and the Santa Maria.
So he was in Jamaica first.
Yeah,
Jamaica first.
Jamaica first.
This is where we stayed in Montego Bay.
You know, America will change it. He was in Jamaica and he
Of
got
course,
some
and then he ended up in
stuff
America.
in the-
Yep,
That's
yep.
right. Okay. RIU, that's the
Riu-
hotel you were at.
Riu
Riu
Montego
Montego Bay.
Bay.
Okay.
Very nice hotel. We spent 4 days there, and it was a very nice place, all-inclusive resort. So they had a lot of facilities.
The
and
scenery was amazing. Because we were
This
on the
looks
higher
like a pretty
floors.
big facility.
It's a very big
Yes.
facility. You could spend a good 10 minutes just walking across it.
Now, were there a lot of guests, mostly U.S. people, would you say, or different countries?
Different countries, a mixed bag, because a lot of people will come to Jamaica from Europe, United States, even Asia.
Eastern countries.
Oh,
Yep,
really? You've
yep.
had Asian people there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Japanese
Oh,
will
yes.
come to Jamaica
The-
for Blue Mountain
really?
coffee.
The Japanese come?
Yes.
Yeah, they love Blue Mountain coffee, so they will actually travel to Jamaica just to get the coffee.
Really? Isn't
Oh, yes.
that interesting?
So yeah, so
Okay, and these are some rooms that were built over
This
the
was
water.
a sneak
Water.
peak across to
yeah, there's a
Sandals,
neighboring
Montego
there's
Bay.
a neighboring property called Sandals Montego Bay.
Oh, I see it on TV all the
Yeah,
time.
so
Right.
we-
Sandals
this is-
actually has some bungalows out over the water.
Yes,
as
you
part
know
of
what?
their
They were,
facility.
I think they've been advertising
Yes,
that.
Right.
these were
So
they.
these are
We
the-
were that close
Oh,
We were
to
that
them.
close
Okay.
to them, so I was able to get some
And
shots
they're
of the bungalows.
beautiful.
Did you get a chance to go to the Sandals Resort as well?
No, we did not.
Okay.
We did
No.
not. We stayed on.
Oh, the beach looks lovely.
The beach
Beach is
is
all white
beautiful.
sand. That's one of the beauties of going to
Beautiful.
Jamaica. Because it's a Caribbean country, you get a lot of tropical foliage and
Palm trees
palm trees
and-
well taken care of.
Oh, yes.
We were in St. James, which is a parish of Jamaica. That's where Montego Bay is. So they have different locations that you can visit there that are of historical significance. And of course, the sunsets in Jamaica are pretty nice. I'm a sucker for a good sunset, so I try to capture it.
Now, let
whenever
me
I
ask you,
can.
did you have any issues, did you feel, with security? One of
No.
the things we often hear is, you know, Jamaica, you got to be careful. And
So I don't
security.
think Paul would necessarily have an issue, but because I don't sound Jamaican, I wouldn't, like, I don't walk on the beach alone at night, only because they tend to they're very friendly. But I
Jamaicans.
yes.
Yeah.
But I would much rather not have them always coming up and saying hello, and especially if they feel that they may be able to sell you something, they will always come by. They're not trying to take something from you per se, but the constant, oh, would you like to buy this? Or here, let me take you to, I'd rather not have that. And I don't sound Jamaican, so.
And of course, with every country, like every major city you visit, you have to be conscious of your surroundings. Because
absolutely.
there are more dangerous spots than others. Well, this resort had security on the resort.
They had their own
Yes.
security.
They had
Yes.
security walking around at night. So
Well, you
they
know, I'll
protected.
tell you, traveling, I think, like Santo Domingo all of a sudden, which nobody ever said boo.
Right.
Yes.
When they had the problems with the, we think, liquor,
Yes.
that they were distilling
Yes,
their own
right.
stuff and killing their visitors. You know, you have to be cautious of
Yeah.
all kinds of security issues everywhere.
Yes.
Right.
You know?
But
Oh,
Rio,
this is beautiful.
this is
is
the
Yeah,
lobby.
this
weird.
is
the
the
lobby
lobby.
of the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I walked in and felt like I was in a palace.
Now,
it's
who
that
do you know who
beautiful.
built was this a Jamaican company or is
No,
this?
Rio is a chain out of Spain.
Spain.
Oh, they're Spanish.
They're Spanish, so yeah, a lot of their managers are
Wow,
from Spain.
they built
But-
quite a place.
Yeah, they have quite a number of properties in Jamaica and around the Caribbean as well. As far
Oh, they have their other
have
locations.
other
Yes,
locations
other
like
locations for Rio.
Belize, Curacao. Yeah,
This is the part I liked.
The
I
pool.
love the pools. Well, I love water, so
right. They have like about 2 or 3 pools that are linked, and they always light them up at night. So it's
Oh,
it's
wow.
a beautiful sight at night.
Yeah, no, it looks beautiful.
it is
Yes.
beautiful.
It's a very nice property.
It was very peaceful. As again, so once I'm not near the beach where the public can have access to me, I would walk these places very comfortably on my own. You never have anything to worry about.
Well,
there.
plus you said they had security.
And they did
Right.
have security.
And
but
that
it's
section of the
just
beach for that hotel is reserved for that hotel and their guests use.
this one, the crab.
Yes. And then we have some local visitors to the hotel. There's a crab who decided to
There were
make
crab holes.
a nest in the hotel.
Yep.
And walking past and so I was like, hey, you, a crab.
Crabs and crab. That hotel had crabs and kittens.
Walking around
Yeah.
as local.
Yeah, the crabs you
non-came
always
guests.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think I remember in some of the islands at the end of the summer, the crabs would all
Yes.
come across
Come
the
across.
road, and oh
Right.
my God, it was.
They're
Yep.
going in for nesting and laying
Yep.
their eggs and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
This is one early morning when I was fast asleep. Someone went photo taking, but it's a beautiful picture. This is the part I like, the quiet and the beauty of the morning.
Right. Blue waters, white sand beach.
Oh,
This is-
my favorite
thought
part
you-
of
for you,
the
Jack.
day.
We
This
thought
is
you'd
for
like
me.
this. I think that was Paul's breakfast. That wasn't mine.
No,
I'm innocent.
that's my favorite part of the day.
Akin sawfish, boiled bananas.
That's a Jamaican breakfast.
Yes,
Yellow
fried
yam,
dumpling.
boiled dumplings, boiled green bananas, ackee
I
and
see
saltfish.
bacon in there, I
Bacon,
think.
yeah, we have
Oh,
to
yes.
have bacon on
You
top.
gotta
And
have
fried
bacon.
plantains.
Akin
Oh, and you had
sawfish.
fried plantain.
Yes.
Akin sawfish is the national dish.
So this I thought you would be interested in. So for breakfast, they actually had that was stewed chicken,
Yep.
and they had callaloo and pak chow.
Callaloo. That's what
Callaloo.
they always had. I remember.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah. In the
spinach.
Caribbean, they
it's
have
callaloo.
Yep.
Right.
And fried plantains.
Yep.
And on that very back one, I think that was some oxtail they had that day.
Yep.
So yeah, some good food.
Good Jamaican food.
No, I was telling you when I
Yeah,
used to have a
ackee
home in the
saltfish.
Caymans, this is
The layout that
the
you would
same
have.
kind of menu.
Right.
Yep.
So
Except
ackee
we
is
used to get it in the supermarkets. Always had prepared food, and it was very
Oh,
good. Can I
okay.
tell you something?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, the supermarkets there was Smith's and there was Hurley's. They had great, and they used to
Oh.
make all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never knew it was Jamaican.
Oh, okay.
You
And
know, I
that's
just
boiled dumplings.
Yep.
Yep. Callaloo.
Yeah. And boiled yellow yam.
Yep.
So yeah,
And
it
fried
was good.
plantains, so yeah.
And fried plantains. So yes, we always
And they
had,
usually
the
have
hotel
some
was
fried
amazing.
chicken. Maybe that's lunch.
That's
this
lunch.
is still
Yeah.
breakfast.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is all breakfast. So yeah, it was
yeah.
very good.
We
Actually,
had our jerk
they
chicken.
cooked very well there.
Oh, you were happy with the food?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did put this in. So they'd make up your room they'd use the towels and make different designs each day.
Like a swan.
This one was the swan one.
Yeah.
Just very original. I find Jamaicans are just naturally creative. They'll come up with ideas and ways to do stuff. This was just a simple example of the kinds of things they would do. That brighten your day. You come in and your room looks nice.
Now, how are these hotels doing business-wise? Do you get the opinion
They were full.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were full.
Good, because,
They
you
did the
know, they
business.
need the
Yeah,
tourism.
they were full.
In fact, their sister property in another city called Ocho Rios.
Oh, I've heard of Ocho Rios.
Right, they have a property in Ocho Rios. That property was down for refurbishing. They're doing a total rebuild of that property. So a lot of the guests left there and went to
I
like
get you.
ourselves.
Bay.
'Cause last year we stayed in Ocho Rios, but when we heard it was closed, we're like, okay, let's go to Montego Bay.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
didn't
so you
regret
stayed
it.
with the same company?
Yes.
Same company because we like the
You like them.
we like the property,
Yes.
we like the service.
Yeah,
It's pretty
we
good.
had very good service.
Now,
there.
you have quite a bit of family there, or?
Most of my family is overseas. Patricia has a lot more family
Yeah,
in Jamaica still.
right. I have more family in Jamaica now than he does.
I know for our audience, Patricia was explaining to me she was really raised in England.
I was born in England.
Born in England,
Went to
but-
Jamaica when I was about 5 years old. And my parents did move back to Jamaica. So my mom is still in Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
And quite a few of my relatives are still there.
So you see a
yes.
lot of family when you go.
Yes. I try to keep up with all the friends and family that are there.
Yeah.
Although we've been away because we see them like at least once a year, you kind of try to fit them into all your time there. Yes.
You have to when you go there.
Yes.
Right. So we have more shots of the hotel. It's just a beautiful property at night. Even sunrises are just awesome.
Interesting, though, that the Spanish company.
Now this is
Yes.
Montego Bay. This is in the center of Montego Bay. It's called
Okay.
Sam Sharp Square. Sam Sharp is one of the national heroes
Oh, really? Why
of
is
Jamaica
that?
because he helped to participate in the revolution to free the slaves.
Free the slaves. So
Right, so
he
they have-
became
you're
one
going
of the
way back.
heroes.
Right, so they have-
yes.
yeah,
so we
way
had
back.
7 national heroes.
Now, this is what?
This is the Sam Sharp Museum
Oh, okay.
in Montego Bay.
Okay.
So it's a national museum, so it has artifacts about Sam Sharp. And this is in the Sam Sharp Square, so it's actually
So was
that-
he a Jamaican?
He
was
was
he
a
a
Jamaican
He was
slave?
an
or-
African slave.
He was
Oh,
an
he
African
was a
slave
Jamaican
that- yeah.
slave.
right, but he was trained to read and write, so he led uprisal against the slave masters to try and get freedom.
Yes.
So he used to also be a lay preacher, so he used to preach to
So when did they end slavery in Jamaica? Do you know? Was it well before the United States?
yeah, it was in the 17th century.
Oh, so we didn't
Yeah.
end until
Before.
really the end of the Civil War,
Yeah.
1864.
No,
Yeah,
they ended
no.
in about
1865
1632.
was the final. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They ended in about 1632.
Oh, the little. The,
Oh,
the
so they
little
hadn't had slavery
huts.
for a long time.
Right. So there are these huts that they used to keep the slaves that used to be mischievous or give trouble. They would lock them in these huts for like many
Days
days.
on
It's
end.
like solitary
Days on end.
confinement, but it's in the tropical sun, so it gets very hot in there. So those huts
Well, you
are
know,
still
I
there.
used to give my kids time out.
Yeah,
But I
this is
didn't
a
have a-
different
I
you
didn't
would
type
want to
of
lock
time.
them in one of those.
This is
though.
a very different type of
would
timeout.
have been
Not
very
the
hot.
kind we would have wanted.
If my kids see the show, they'll say, "Dad, that's what you used to do to us."
They were a lot more comfortable, I assure you.
So
I told my little granddaughter last week she was misbehaving. We were swimming together. I says, "I'm going to put you
In
in
timeout?
pool timeout." Which was I was going to say, you
Yeah,
have
put
to
me
stay
in the
this
pool.
corner
Oh,
of the
she
pool.
wouldn't get to go in there.
Right.
Okay.
So this is another shot of Montego Bay. This is in the hills of Montego Bay overlooking the Caribbean Sea. As you
Isn't
can
that
see,
beautiful?
Yeah.
the water is always lovely and blue.
You'll have to send these a copy of your travel show here to the Jamaican Chamber of Commerce. They could have you out
and then
there
have the pictures.
showing how great
Someone
the place
said
looks.
that.
Yeah, my son actually saw some of the pictures
it
and said I
was?
could actually sell the pictures back to the hotel for promotion because there were some nice shots that we got.
This is where downtown Montego Bay.
downtown
Yes.
Montego Bay on a busy typical day on downtown Montego Bay with traffic and
So you
those
have people selling on the sides of the road, and it's
Yeah.
natural. It's they get little stools, wooden stools, and they pull their cardboard boxes. They sell right out of the boxes
Yep.
on the side of the road.
and almost anything you want to buy you can get.
Anything you want, you can get on the road.
Do you
in
still
Montego
see
Bay.
a British influence there, or how do you feel about that?
I don't feel that
You
there is
don't?
very much left. No, because
Okay.
I feel like a stranger in that land.
But a lot of the architecture, like the older buildings and like the government offices, still maintain a bit of the British architecture. But
Yeah.
not that much now. A lot of
Not
it has
that
become modernized.
Well, they've been independent since 1960 something.
1962.
62. Okay.
Yep.
Right,
So,
so, yeah.
they've
been a
taken
while.
on their own personality almost. And
Yes.
it's okay.
But of course, this is also a monument to the slave rebellion that Sham Sharp led. It's called the Freedom Monument. Commemorates the Emancipation War of 1831-32.
Oh, so they had an actual war.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
they
a
fought-
major revolution.
Right, they fought against
that
the British colonies, British slave masters that owned the place.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Sham Sharp tied up with the Maroons.
This is a
Patricia.
typical Jamaican picture of the. So this was when we were on our way back into
from Montego Bay
Kingston.
into Kingston.
We drove inland. So
Okay.
we drove over the hillside, and this was not strange. This donkey would carry everyone's produce
Like the
to the
farmer-
markets to
the
get
farmers
sold.
would have their produce going to market. That's the best way to
How
transport over
much
the
farming is there, would you say, in Jamaica?
There
hills. There's
is.
still quite a bit of farming.
Really?
Especially the more inland you go.
Right.
The Cayman
live
had
off the
no,
land.
had no farming.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
we have a lot of farmland.
Jamaicans
You
will
do?
still do it.
Yes.
And churches there's a church on almost every corner in Jamaica.
As big as the one you belong to?
Yes, and
Really?
you'll find
Small.
various sizes. You'll find quite a few smaller ones. There are actually not very many big churches, more established ones, but
smaller ones
everywhere
like
you go,
this?
you'll find little churches like this.
So it still has the British architecture. This is a Methodist church from
Do you
way
think
back
this
when.
was the influence of the British that they had so
I
much
definitely
church?
the type of buildings.
But I mean
more
the
so.
fact that they
They had
such
so
a
many
religious.
churches? Yes.
The
Yes, it was.
And slaves were a religious people because that's what they used to survive. So they learned to sing, and it was a lot of worship, and that kept them going through the hard days.
So it's
And so-
interesting that you're still using your activism in the church
Yes, it's
for
funny.
the same purpose.
For the same purpose, to free their minds, to give them a hope and something to keep going. You're so right.
And Jamaica is reputed to have more churches per square mile than
Well, it
any
can't
other-
hurt.
any other
I
island.
think so too. Except in Jamaica, they say they have as many churches and bars. But we won't go there.
But yeah, it's a beautiful country. It's mountainous and a lot of tropical green scenery that
What
you
we
see.
saw happening a lot. Oh yeah.
This is also a common sight that you'll see in Jamaica. This is actually a van that we saw while we were driving. We're taking pigs to the slaughterhouse.
That I have actually never seen. I've heard of it. So for me, it
That's
was
all right,
a
you
very
can
new
skip it.
experience. I was like, but it was interesting to see that they filled, I don't know how they got the pigs in the back of the van, but that they got them
Kicking
all
and
in
screaming.
there.
We used to raise pigs when I lived in Jamaica, so
Okay.
that's how we transported them to the market. Yeah, it just dropped. Now this is where one of the hotels I stayed at in Kingston.
Okay. This is Four Seasons.
So this is after you left
So
Montego
this is
Bay.
when, yes, we now
okay.
left Montego
So
Bay.
I took this shot because you see all this shrubbery, but there's a resident of the hotel that's hiding in this shrubbery.
Oh,
As you see,
really? Oh, that's
this
a little
guy.
bird. Oh, what a
It's
this
a
guy.
national. It's a national bird of Jamaica. It's a hummingbird.
Oh,
Streamer-tailed
what a pretty
hummingbird.
bird. He almost
Yeah, he
looks
doesn't
like he
have
has
his long-
iridescent
Yes,
feathers.
and
Yes.
doesn't have
It
his long
actually-
tail.
He actually does have iridescent feathers. And
Yes.
as he grows older, he gets his tail grows longer.
Really long, and it can get really long with a little curve. The
really?
The
Okay.
hummingbird.
So it's called the streamer-tail hummingbird. But this guy lives at the hotel. So every year I go to that hotel, I always go looking for him, and he's still there.
Him or some relative, because we don't really. But
Yeah.
but yeah, and they come by and they're very
Oh,
pleasant.
look at this beautiful building.
This is Kingston.
Yeah, this is used to be a great house where like they'd have a plantation and the owner of the plantation would live at a great house like this. But this one is in the middle of Kingston. It's called Devon House.
And they sell ice cream there.
So when you say the plantation, where they were raising sugar,
Yes, that was the
Yes,
major crop.
that was our major
the
crop.
major cash crop at the time, sugarcane, and they would distill it to make rum, which is why Jamaican rum is also so popular.
Right.
and today, do they still grow a lot of sugar? Or?
No,
Not as
No.
much.
Not as
It
much
still
sugar.
is grown, but not as much
Not
as it
much.
used to be.
They've gone into other crops like oranges and
So Devon House has now become
national monument.
Not, people go and tour it to see what.
Because,
the
you know,
layout used to be.
Cuba used to be a huge sugar producer. Today, they don't grow that much of it.
Yeah.
They really killed that industry.
Jamaica still has it only because we still produce rum. So I worked at the rum company in Jamaica for about 12
Oh, you
years.
did? Oh, so
yes.
you really... Oh,
So I'm
Tell
always
me about
in the
that
spirit.
I
worked
like
there for
rum.
about 12 years.
this
and
was a Bacardi company?
Ray and Nephew used to be the name of it, and it was primarily most of the sugar grown would go into the
Distilling.
distilleries that we have all around Jamaica to produce the rums we would sell. So we have our white overproof rum that's known, and no, it cannot. I've brought some here and had some Americans taste it, and they're a bit surprised at the strength of the rum. But to a Jamaican, it's just rum because we've gotten so used to the proof of the rum.
Well,
It's
I
really
always
strong.
used to buy that. I can't find it anymore. We used to buy a 151 rum.
It's really strong.
They don't
so
sell it in the United States.
I don't
I've
think
not
so.
seen
I
it
have-
here.
It's too strong for the United States. So
We
they
can't
actually-
export it at that proof anyway. It's
Oh,
from
really?
Jamaica. So
They have to dilute it.
This
it
I don't
would-
think was Jamaican. This was a Bacardi.
Bacardi is
Bacardi,
also
yeah.
there, but yeah, Ray and Nephew white overproof rums and all the others, Appleton specials.
Oh,
and
I remember
Appleton's.
Appleton. Yep.
Appleton is also something
Jamaican rum.
Yep, all
Yeah.
Jamaican. So sugarcane is still produced because we still make those rums. As
But-
far as I know, I don't think that has changed
Right.
since I've left Jamaica.
But it's not. We used to produce a lot of sugar for export to the European market, but then a lot of the rules have changed, and then they went other places like Brazil and Central America for their sugar. So that market kind of faded a bit. This is one of our major parks in Kingston. It's called the Emancipation Park. It was built to commemorate the emancipation of Jamaica from slavery. So it's a tribute to the national heroes. It's the Walk of Freedom. So it has monuments of all
Beautiful.
the national
Yes.
heroes of Jamaica, of which there are 7 of them. And they have different monuments. But the park is beautiful. It's a nice green space in the center of this bustling city where people actually go and just hang out and
So you have
relax.
all these buildings, and right in the middle is this lovely park. So
It is
people go there.
lovely.
People
Yes.
go there to do their walks for their exercise or just
They have
to
a jogging path.
jogging path.
People just go there just to relax, even in the middle of the day. It's a nice place to get away from the heat of the day. And then it has plaques commemorating national heroes. So you have the Order of the National Hero of Jamaica. That's created by Parliament. That it's one of the highest civilian honors that you
And
can
who
get.
is this woman?
This is
This woman
Nanny.
is Nanny of the Maroons. It's one of our only female national hero. One of the 7 national heroes that we have.
Oh, you have a set group of 7. Okay.
Just
Yes.
7
What is
national
her
heroes.
history?
Her history that she was a leader of the slave rebellions.
She was in. Oh,
She was
good.
part of the slave rebellion
And the
uprising.
Maroons, yeah.
But the slaves escaped into the mountains from the
And
British,
she was
and they
part
found
of
the
the ones
Maroons.
that led her. that
George
led
William
them.
Gordon was one of the white slave owners who sympathized with the slaves and actually helped
with the
that
emancipation
movement with the
process.
emancipation. He was a Methodist preacher,
A lay preacher or an
Yeah.
actual preacher. Okay.
and he used to help teach the slaves, much to the other white people's chagrin. This is Am Sharp,
I'm trying to see
and this
here.
is Paul
Bogle.
Right. No, this is Marcus Garvey. Sorry,
Marcus Garvey.
another freedom fighter.
Marcus Garvey, I've heard of, but
Right, because he also helped in the fight for emancipation in the United States
yes,
as well.
he was involved. Oh, so he was a Jamaican?
He was
Yes.
a Jamaican.
Oh, I never knew that. See, I don't know if our books
Right.
tell us
And that's
that.
Paul Bogle.
Paul Bogle, he led the
So we have a
uprising in
couple
Eastern-
slaves or former slaves that became leaders, and that helped to bring them through the revolution, and so they became heroes.
Right. Norman Washington Manley was one of the founding fathers of Jamaica's constitution. So he
Was
helped.
he also an original prime minister? That
Yes.
Yes.
name sounds
Yes.
very familiar
Yes,
to me.
and his son also
He was-
became prime minister,
Ah.
Michael Manley.
He was the
Okay.
first prime minister of Jamaica, of independent Jamaica.
Yes,
So he
I
helped-
knew that name
He helped
Yes.
formulate our independence from the
from
the
England.
UK.
We never
Right.
had you.
Yeah, no.
From the UK.
It was
Right. Alexander Bustamante was also the other founding father
And these statues are all in this park.
in
Yep.
this park. So there's a whole walk that commemorates all these
Oh,
heroes.
so this
And
is
that's
like
the walk.
And that's the walk. So
the
it shows you all
Founders
the-
Walk or a man.
Yes.
Oh, isn't
Right.
that
So
lovely?
like you had the founding fathers of America.
Yes.
These are the people who shaped Jamaica's constitution.
Modern Jamaica.
Modern
Modern
Jamaica and their
Jamaica.
freedom from slavery and British colonialism at the time.
And
Before
the
God
pledge.
and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind,
the strength and
and
vigor
vigor
of
of
my
my
body,
body, in the service of my fellow citizens.
I
I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly,
so that Jamaica may,
under God, oh, see, they
increase
haven't
in
tried to
beauty,
strike that yet.
Fellowship and
Increase in
prosperity.
beauty and fellowship and prosperity,
and play her
part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. So that's your national pledge.
Yep.
Yep.
And we used to say
So
it in
do you
school
say that
every
it's-
day.
oh, like the Pledge of
Every day we
Allegiance?
would
Right.
get
Really?
up and go,
Yes,
before
it's-
God and all
It's
mankind.
equivalent to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh,
Yes.
so
In-
that Jamaica
in America.
under God, like we say,
Yes.
under God.
And this
Yes.
is our national anthem. It's like
They're
yours.
always trying to do away with our under God in the national
Yes.
anthem.
Yeah,
I
but
see-
that's the basis
I'm glad
of
to see
everything
Jamaica has
That's
it.
the basis of
Right.
everything
So-
we have.
This national anthem for Jamaica is the equivalent of your Star Spangled Banner.
Yep.
Yep.
This is what we sing.
Hear
at-
the kids sing that.
Right. This is sung at every.
Oh, they
Every
sing
mid-
this too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it has a song.
It's
Yes,
a
it
song.
is a
It's
song.
sung at every major event that's happening in Jamaica, like sporting events, Parliament.
Yep.
Every
Oh, really?
major event,
Okay.
they always start with this anthem. And then this is another shot of Emancipation Park. It's a beautiful, beautiful park. As you can see, it's in the middle of the major hotels, once situated in the background there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very nice. This is further downtown Kingston. This is one of the monuments by one of our
This
our
is a
local
waterfront.
artists.
Yes.
Yes, this is Negro Arise.
What is it called?
It's called Negro Arise.
Oh,
Negro
Arise.
Arise. It's by Edna Manley. She
Edna
was.
Manley was an artist.
Did
She's
they
an
use
artist.
the term Negro in Jamaica?
Huh? Back
Yes.
in the day, yes.
Back in the day, it wasn't a strange thing.
To hear.
It was my coming here that made it
Well,
become
when I was a
bad
kid,
word.
when I was a kid, we used the term.
Yeah.
The NAACP
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
was the advancement. Well, that's the national
Yes.
advancement of colored people, but
It's
I mean,
funny, in
Negro
Jamaica-
was not an unusual term.
Right. In
Yeah,
Jamaica,
Negro.
Negro was a word of dignity, and
Do they still use the word Negro in Jamaica?
Not very
not
much.
as much. We've been influenced too much by the American
No, I mean,
train of thought, and so yeah.
it just
not
when you brought it
usually.
up, and I said, "Oh my God, I don't hear that
Yeah.
word.
You know, hear
Yep.
that word.
You don't hear it anymore."
It wouldn't be very strange to hear it in Jamaica. It's just not the norm. It's kind of being phased out,
Right.
so you don't
yeah,
see much
but-
of it.
This is the downtown Kingston. It had fallen into disrepair, but there's a move on to rehabilitate downtown Kingston and make it more,
So Kingston is the
more
cap,
commercial friendly.
right?
Right now, Kingston is the capital city of Jamaica, and downtown Kingston was usually the commercial district,
But what?
but it had fallen into
It had
disrepair.
fallen into disrepair.
Really?
Right,
Yeah.
so there are a lot of business, but people wouldn't go there like for recreation or just to hang out. But a lot of businesses have decided, okay, let's try and revive downtown.
Are they making any success?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Just with presentation and the places they have now, so people are feeling safer to go because it doesn't look.
would you say Montego Bay is a safer city than Kingston?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I think they're different in their ways. I wouldn't be able to fairly
oh, really?
say.
You'd say culturally they're different?
I think they're even different culturally and just their presence. Well, Montego Bay is made to entertain outsiders. Kingston,
It's
you
made for
just
locals.
live
So you say
proud.
Montego Bay literally is a tourist
Yes.
Mecca,
Yeah.
mecca,
if
Yeah.
you will.
and Kingston,
Kingston,
is
you're
a
just a
commercial.
proud Jamaican being
commercial.
commercial or
Right.
enjoying whatever is available there. So the mentality, I think, is different. You walk in Kingston and as many people would not necessarily approach you to sell you something, whereas you walk in Montego Bay, it is always going to be, okay, what can I sell you? How can I get to you for? I don't find that as much in Kingston.
Right.
So I think the mindset is a bit different.
Right. So
Yeah, it-
Montego Bay and Ocho Rios, which is another town on the north coast, are mainly geared towards
Tourism.
Yeah, and
Ocho Rios,
tourism.
Montego Bay,
Ocho
and
Rios,
Negril.
I've never been, but I've always heard
Beautiful.
of it.
It's
Beautiful.
very
I've always
beautiful.
heard nice.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
Negril on the west coast. That's also geared towards tourism. Kingston is geared towards.
It's more commercial.
It's the administrative capital
Where
of
do
the
the
city.
ships come into usually?
Montego
Oh,
Bay.
Montego Bay.
Montego Bay. They have some in Kingston as
Yeah,
well.
Kingston has a container wharf, so most of the
For
most of the-
business.
for business. Oh, you mean
Tourists.
cruise ships?
Cruise ships,
Cruise ships
Montego
come into
Bay,
Montego
and
Bay
Ocho Rios.
Rios.
And Ocho Rios.
Right,
Okay.
and they also have a cruise ship terminal in a town called Falmouth. That's about
Oh, yes.
45 minutes east of Montego Bay. But yeah, it's mostly on the north coast, because when they get off the cruise ships there, they can visit a lot of the attractions
Yeah.
that are designed for tourists that are built
Well,
on the
the
north coast.
tourists want the beach. They
Right,
want
yeah, they want
beaches,
beach.
restaurants, and hotels.
There are
Yeah.
a few that would like inland, which is why Falmouth would work for them, so they'll see more mountainous
Well, as I was
areas and
telling you
stuff.
before we began the show, my
Yeah.
friends were
Right.
very friendly with the
You
red
mentioned
striped
that.
bear people, and
Yes,
they
the red
loved to
striped bear
go.
people.
He
Yeah.
laughed. Well, that was the big bear in
Right,
Jamaica,
yeah.
and they were
It
very
still
friendly.
is.
Yep.
Still is.
And they loved to go up to their cabin
Yes.
in the Blue Mountains.
Yes.
And they said they
Nice,
said
cool
they-
Blue Mountain.
It was cool.
For Jamaicans, it's cold. Here,
Well, we
Jamaicans
get
consider 58 degrees cold.
This is the foliage that just is everywhere, especially during the summer. That's called a June rose, the one that just left. And
This is
I
a
think most
variegated
people know the
hibiscus.
hibiscus.
Oh, the hibiscus is beautiful.
Yeah. What's the name of this one?
I-
Paul?
These are all plants that are grown in my
They're in
mother-in-law's.
my mom's garden.
Yes.
And
I
they're
went-
just
We went by
beautiful.
mom's house and I saw these and I'm like, wow.
You want to talk about cold? Cold is northern Canada
Yeah, yes.
No.
in the
Okay.
winter.
Yeah,
Yes.
Jamaica doesn't know anything about that kind of
that's
cold.
It's
cold.
funny, when I left Jamaica and came here, I remember 65 degrees, I was wearing a cardigan and I was really cold because in Jamaica that was really cold.
I didn't ask you what brought you here.
This gentleman
Yeah.
brought me here. I probably would have stayed in Jamaica or go back to England, as my sons did. But I married this gentleman and he got to work here. So here
So
I am.
he was geographically here. You said, all right, that's where I'm
Yeah,
going.
like I guess that's where I'm
Yeah,
going.
I came up here for work and then she's like, okay. she
I'll
wants to
just
be
come
apart
with
from
you.
me.
Yes.
Well, Massachusetts, I always tell people
I actually do like
Massachusetts
it,
is
though.
a nice state.
Yes,
I really do.
I am glad this is where he chose.
I look at the weather everywhere. I hate to sound
Yeah.
biased on the set, but California,
I'm
they
an
got
English-
earthquakes,
I'm an
and
English woman. I'll take this weather.
yeah,
It's okay.
and I'm watching the hurricanes in the Caribbean. And
Had enough of that
and
in
the-
Jamaica.
Yep, had enough of that. Although yesterday I was driving home from Connecticut and I got my telephone was buzzing. I had a tornado warning.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yesterday,
outside of
yes.
Hartford at 5:15.
Oh,
I
Dorian
said,
passing?
I said, what's
No, it
going
wasn't
on?
Dorian.
Why is
Was
my
it?
phone buzzing? And I picked it up and
Wow.
it says, pull over or whatever. It says, get safe. And I said,
Wow.
oh my God.
Yeah, you
know
don't
what-
want to be on the road in a tornado.
No,
It's
no.
not-
So
yeah.
I think we're coming to the end of the pictures,
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah, this is when we're leaving and I was actually returning my rental car in the morning and this was a sunrise.
How'd you do with the driving, left to right and right to left?
He's used to it.
He's used to it,
He's
okay.
good at driving, so he can adjust on an just on a
this
whiz.
is the same 7 liters. Is this another
That's correct.
tribute
This is
to
in
them?
the airport.
It's not
Oh, at the
but it's
airport,
it's at the
okay.
national airport.
This is at the airport. So this is on our way coming back home.
Yep.
Because one of the national heroes, Norman Washington Manley, the airport is named after him.
Named after him.
And
it's a Norman Manley
the quote
International
of Jamaica, out of many, the motto, out of many, one people.
That's the motto of Jamaica.
And these were things that I'm sure I had to look at and smile. You and your bag and pan. Phrases that
The Jamaican phrase that they
Oh,
put
this is translation of
Right.
Jamaican.
phrases, yes. This is at the departure. So
so you and your bag and pan, you've got baggage.
nowhere no better than yard.
There's no place like home. That kind of Granted,
I like that.
I had to read them twice to see.
like
I'm glad
that.
they
Oh,
had,
they had a
and they
whole
had it
wall of
right
it.
They had a
along the
whole wall
wall.
of them
It
as
was
you-
so interesting.
It's one of the last things you see as you leave to go on the plane.
Isn't that great?
Last lick.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Local translation.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
because
actually
the
interesting.
Jamaican vernacular, the Jamaican patois, is a lot.
More colorful. It's very,
very
colorful,
difficult to understand
but
for-
very difficult to understand. I grew
If
up
you're-
there, and there's still times when they say things, and I go, "Okay, Paul, what what do they? I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, they always make fun of Massachusetts people too. I parked my car
I won't-
In Harvard Yard.
I won't say anything. I won't say, but it is very hard for me to understand
Yeah, I went
too.
to Florida once and I was like, oh, I'm from Massachusetts. Oh, you parked your car.
Actually, my most asked question since I've been here is, where are you from? Because I do not sound Bostonian. I don't sound Jamaican.
No, you don't sound Jamaican.
And then
Don't sound English.
if I go to England, I don't sound very British either. Not to them, because I'm
no,
not
you
completely.
sound British to me.
I sound British to everyone
You don't
outside of
sound
England.
You don't sound Australian.
I've actually had people ask me, are
No.
you from Australia or
No,
South Africa?
and you don't sound
or,
South African.
Yep, I've had those questions.
No,
so I
no,
just smile
I wouldn't
and go,
necessarily say London. I wouldn't be able to figure
right.
out.
But most people do ask me if I'm British.
Yeah.
So probably about 60-70% of the people go, where are you from? Are you British? I'm like,
Framingham.
yes. Yeah. And then I go, not with that
Where's
accent.
that? Where's that? Where's that?
Not with that
I tell
accent.
people I'm from Framingham, they're like, oh, where were you
Where?
from before Framingham? Like, oh yeah, Jamaica.
Well, you don't have too much of an accent, really.
No, he's learned to fix his voice to accommodate
Oh, really?
all people.
No, he really.
Yes, it's very
because
strange. So
I've been working with Americans for a long time, so if I speak very fast, it tumbles out, so I learn to slow it
Well,
down.
no, I hear some accent, but I mean, I don't. I wouldn't.
he's learned to make himself understood here.
Well, we all try to make ourselves understood.
Yeah.
United
It
States
beats-
is a very
It beats repeating yourself.
tremendous amount of different people from
Yeah.
different countries live here. We really are a very blended country.
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
yes, we are.
Well, I've got to thank you too. It
You're
went
very
very
welcome.
fast.
Yes, we did.
And
thank
I
you.
hope we got all the photos in.
We
but
did.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did, good.
We did.
And it sounds like you had a wonderful both trip and presentation of
Yes.
your philosophy, and I admire that, I must tell you.
Thank you.
And I think you're right on track when you tell not just women, you should address men too, because men deal with the same issues
Issues.
as the women.
We'll
They
leave
really
that for,
do.
We'll leave that for Paul to do next.
No, it's okay for you, but
Yes.
all people, I think it's really part of the human condition.
Yeah.
We get locked in our minds that we can't move on
Yes.
to something, and I'm glad you do that. It's
Thank you.
very inspirational.
Yes.
So
yes.
thank you again. I hope you'll
you
come
very
back with
much.
another trip and join
We'll
us.
have to get another trip somewhere then. Yes.
I can
See,
work on
now
that.
you've got a reason.
Yes,
my
there you
goodness.
go.
Paul, I want to go here. We're going to go back to see Jack and put the show on.
We'll do
yes.
that. We'll do that.
Thank you
You're
again.
very welcome, sir.